Hello guys, fireswifty here, and today I'm going to be telling you top 5 tips when starting in Guild Wars 2. These tips are mainly going to be focused on leveling, since that is what you will be doing when starting. First tip is, do not quit. You might be asking yourself, why would you tell us that, fireswifty? Well, that is because Guild Wars 2 has a, let's say, different leveling system. Instead of quests like in traditional MMORPGs, in Guild Wars 2 you have events, which are shown on the minimap as hearts. Each time you complete an event, you will unlock a new merchant, which has a heart over his head. Merchants will probably sell gear. You can buy this gear with something called karma. How you get karma is by completing events, so you might want to be on the lookout for those merchants. Guild Wars 2 also has public events, in which you will need other players to complete. Also, every 10 levels, you will unlock a new story quest. Those are quests based on things you have chosen when creating your character. Tip number 2 is that if you're falling behind in levels, you could explore the map. What I mean by that is that on the minimap you will see these things. When you go near them, they will reward you experience points. On the minimap you will see vistas, points of interest, waypoints, and hero challenges. Tip number 3 is not really a tip as much as a life hack. If you have played Guild Wars 2 for at least 30 minutes, you will see that your inventory fills up pretty quickly. What you can do to stop that is you can store your crafting materials in the bank. You can do that by pressing on the arrow pointing down in the top right of your bag window. And in the drop down menu, press deposit all materials. If you want to access or use those materials, you can find them in your bank. Banks can be found almost in any bigger city, marked with this icon. Tip number 4 is kinda related to the tip number 3, and it's that you should do crafting professions as soon as possible. What professions will allow you is to make gear for yourself when you reach level 80, and also a lot of gold on your way to level 80. And finally, the tip number 5, which I will show you in the in-game settings. If you go to your in-game settings, you can enable some things that will make your game experience much better. You can enable AoE loot, which what that does, it makes it to when you loot one body, it will automatically loot all the bodies near you. What you can also enable is auto loot. Also, another thing that I like to do is enable first person view. Something that can also make your experience in Guild Wars 2 better is tweaking your graphic settings. You can also do this in in-game settings. If you have a lower spec GPU, you can lower the textures, anti-aliasing, and animation detail. If you have a lower spec CPU, you can lower down shadows, lighting, character models, and the distance at which things like shadows, grass, and characters are shown. Those have been my top 5 tips when starting in Guild Wars 2. If this video helped you, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you wanna give me any recommendations on which video should I do next, you can either comment or just tweet me. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye.